Hi, blog course. This is Chema Amadi. I'm actually part of Blog Team 5. Today I'll be embarking really on my strength-based leadership, strength number 4. And I like to focus in on restorative. Um, it actually falls into the executing themes. Um, Starting out, one being a reservative person, a lot of things that come to mind is being able to be a problem solver, or as I like to put it, a problem proofer. Um, what I do, as some of you guys probably don't know already, I'm an insurance agent with Bankers Life and Casualty Company. Been there a little bit over 2 years. I'm a manager in the office, and I spend a lot of my time, if not um, with other new agents, training those guys. I spend a lot of my time with clients and even orphan clients. Now, another term that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, an orphan client. How they're a client of your company and they're an orphan. The way we kind of stipulate, or the way we align our clientele, everyone has their own personal book of business. Now, people do leave the company, sadly to say, but when they do, their customers don't, and they become an orphan. When this occurs, these clients, one of the things we do promise all of our clients, all of our customers, is the fact they always have a servicing agent, somebody they can come to if they ever have questions, concerns about any of the things that, the products that we deliver to them. And when this thing happens, either due to someone being fired, terminated, better opportunity, maybe different opportunity, however you want to place it, and they're no longer there, I get a chance to go in and kind of go over some of the things these people might have missed. Or, in my case, look at making sure that everything they do have in place is lined up in the best possible place necessary. Um, One of the biggest things when I'm going in talking to people, trying to be as restorative as possible, I have to be really compassionate. A lot of people feel that their issues, their personal concerns, when it relies in regards to either health related problems, or in regards to wealth accumulation or wealth preservation, these are sensitive topics. And when I sit down and talk to people, the first thing, they have to be able to trust me. Otherwise, you're just not going to give me the whole scoop, and it's going to make it really hard for me to be able to try to help them. And the ideal is to be able to help them. So one of the things I definitely know I have to really focus in on, making sure I get that point or that type of vibe across, is the fact that I'm actually here to help you. My ideal here is not necessarily to help myself. And I find various ways through body language, talking, hand gesturing, and as well as just really communicating and get a good, better understanding of getting to know whom it is I'm dealing with. I think is huge, and it definitely does plan itself out in the long run, and people can see that in what it is that I do with them. Um, One of the other things I do initially, again, I like to try to identify people's problems. Um, and the best problems to identify are the problems that they don't see themselves. Um, it's great, again, that with dealing with the orphans. A lot of times I go in there and tell them I'm coming in and I'm doing a review. And then when I get there, I kind of go through everything that we do. And it's interesting to see when someone says, well, I just haven't seen anybody in a long time. I'm just glad you guys didn't forget who I am. When that conversation turns into, well, you know what, Chima, I never thought about this, this, and this. And these are also places where I might potentially be vulnerable. It's awesome when you get the client to understand that what you're here to do is not necessarily to be there for yourself. You're there for them, and that's the whole purpose. And I enjoy doing that. And that's one of the reasons why I like what it is that I do. Um, One of the things I do while I am in this proofing period, or this period where I'm kind of filling out older customer, these orphans, I like to take the time to go through something we call a fact finder. Fact finder is nothing more than a questionnaire that goes across several of the product lines that we deal with. Whereas I go through this process, a lot of the times, um, the person that I'm sitting down with, they already have something with us. And the rest of the things are really kind of either blank or maybe picked up some other way. Again, this is really another interesting place where I get a chance to praise the customers and the clients and let them know that the plan that you've done in advance is perfect. It's awesome. A lot of times it is. And my job really isn't necessarily to dash or tear anybody down, but to make sure that they're comfortable and that they feel great about what it is they've already done. Ideally, outside of that, being a restorative person, it helps a whole lot when I'm sitting down with people I really don't know. One of the things that's really great about it is when you walk in, you're getting a handshake, and when you're walking out, you have a person who might be in tears of joy, of course. I didn't beat them up, I didn't hit them people, nothing like that. Or you're getting hugs and kisses, and you're getting invited back to dinner. That's the overall presence I like to leave when I'm done with people that I finish working with. And I feel that I do that on a very regular basis. So being restorative is huge. It makes those personal connections that last a lifetime, and that's ideally what I'm planning on trying to do with every person I sit down with, no matter how big of a client they might be or how insignificant of the amount of a sale it might be. Those things really aren't matter. What really matters are really the relationships. The relationships really, I feel, foster and build the overall customer. It'll be nothing to have just a premium paying customer. I think my biggest thing would be I'd rather have a relationship with each and every person, or as many of them as possible, and really delve into understanding my clients in a place where only I can. One, I think it makes me higher referable, and it makes it that so that my job is a lot easier. It's a lot easier to come back and talk to your friends and sit down and talk versus come in and you have to ice break or you have to pacify the seas, whatever that problem or issue might be. I definitely like the fact of being able to come in and knowing that on my second or third time visit with the same folks, at this point I'm very comfortable. At this point, they're very comfortable, and everything's really being vocalized and really communicating on a higher level. Lastly, one of the biggest things about being a restorative person, a lot of people, one of the things I've seen that through the book with Ralph and Chan and Kanchi was that ideally they say that a lot of times you want a lot of praise. I find that not to be the case for myself. When I'm dealing with people or dealing with my customers, our office is very transparent in regards to when people make sales or people do well or people get accolades or people get referred in that nature. It's one of the things that definitely highly praised, highly anticipated, mainly because most people, you do what you talk about. For myself personally, I really don't get get too high off the praise, because I look at it, the time I can be using sitting there praising and raha and patting myself on my back, could be using that to get myself prepared to get in front of the next person. I try not to, when I'm in my business mode, I try to be business mode as much as possible. And when I'm down and relaxing, playing ball or at the beach or whatever it might be, then I'm doing that 100% too. I just kind of like to make sure that everything I am doing is focused and is trained, and even more so than being focused and trained, is really driven into the goal that we're looking at. Another interesting thing that in the Strength Builder book that I didn't feel as that didn't mesh as well with me was in regards to being a person who a lot of times when you either unravel a problem or you look for something that others might have overlooked, is that the fact that you kind of want to also make sure that others know that you figured out the right answer. I think kind of deflecting some of that credit and kudos away from myself personally, especially when I'm dealing with other people, creates more of the real comfort and trust level. The fact of knowing that person that I might be dealing with, they know that this is something that happens normally. This isn't something that's rare. That they're not a strange anomaly. I want them all to feel like look, this is what I do every day, and every day when I do it, I'm happy to do it, and you shouldn't feel any different. Now, well, that's kind of my bit this week on being a restorative person overall. In regards to my job, I feel I have to use it on a daily basis, making sure that my customers know who I am. Not even us that they know who I am, even other people I don't interact with. Sometimes the most ideal, most direct approach, me saying who I am and passing off a business card isn't enough. So being able to be a man of varied trades, being able to communicate to people on various different mediums, and ways I think is very resourceful and overall embodies what it is that I do. Thanks, guys. This is my first blog. Hopefully the rest of them are going to get a lot better. But um, happy blogging, folks.